Hey everyone, it's so good to see you, and I'm excited to say that today, after months of shifting focus to vintage Chanel, my first Goyard bag, I'm back to focus on the topic of Hermes. I have so many exciting Hermes videos planned for the months ahead, so today we're kicking it off with the battle of the Holy Grail minis. Who do you think would win between the Birkin 25 and the Kelly 25? For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you would have seen the teasers and that I purchased both of these bags through resellers. I will be sharing those details in full in a future video. The Birkin dates back to 2014, so it's no wonder it's in the brilliant seasonal color anemone, which launched that year. The Kelly is a 2019 release from none other than the famous Paris flagship store for Versatility, and it's in the 2018 autumn-winter seasonal color Pink Dette. As my subscribers know, I'm obsessed with stylistic diversity, so I'm really excited to add my first purple and my first pink bag to my collection, especially since Hermes purples are generally considered rare to come by and Hermes pinks hold some of the highest resale value. Both of these bags feature palladium hardware and swift leather, which is a match made in heaven for making bright colors pop and catch the light, not to mention it's incredibly soft to touch. Today is a detailed comparison on the topics of usability and aesthetics, but I won't be covering the fundamental differences between Birkin and Kelly, as it has already been discussed in my previous video, which I encourage you to check out if you're new to the topic. With big bags returning to the spotlight, is the Birkin and Kelly 25 just a trend, or will it stand the test of time and be a worthy investment to add to your collection? A big thank you to my amazing subscribers for joining me today. Let's get into it. Another perk to both bags being in swift leather is that I can conduct a fair weight comparison, and it's no surprise that with a simpler construction and a narrower frame, it's the Kelly 25 which ends up lighter between the two. Among Hermes leathers, swift leather is considered one of the lighter options, and naturally having a lower baseline for bag weight maximizes your ability to stay comfortable when you start packing at capacity. If you want to maximize carrying capacity in smaller bags, choose a soft leather and relaxed silhouette which can be flexible in molding to your contents. That's exactly why I chose my Kelly 25 in swift with retourne stitching, and at maximum capacity it can hold sunnies, powder, perfume, large hand cream, sanitizer, 2 lipsticks, a bag holder, lip liner, mirror, car key, wallet, mascara and foam. Although at 1.6 kilos, the soft swift leather and minimal top handle structure is screaming in pain. I feel that if you leave it gaping open, it will probably be permanently stretched for life. And even when you clasp the central turn lock to reduce strain on the leather, the hardware is still under immense pressure and constant friction. So I believe the maximum amount your Kelly 25 can safely carry is actually sunnies without the case, wallet, phone, sanitizer, car key, lipstick, and prioritize large light objects like your cardigan or scarf, since space not weight is readily available. This clocks in at 1.1 kilos, which is within my comfort zone and doesn't strain the Kelly 25's construction. Comparing the Birkin 25 and Kelly 25 side by side, it's no surprise that the Birkin packs more since it's a fraction taller and wider by about a third, which is especially significant when you wear your Birkin as an open tote. Interestingly, only the 2014 Birkin is a true 25 centimeter width, while the 2019 Kelly measured shorter. When worn closed, the Birkin 25 can carry everything the Kelly 25 packed plus a cardigan. It clocked in at 1.85 kilos, which is not comfortable, but I'm glad to say that the Birkin 25 bravely bears the weight and doesn't feel flimsy or endangered like my Kelly 25. Now, if you think that's impressive, the Birkin 25 worn open can fit an additional A5 hardcover notebook, although the weight now crosses over the 2 kilo mark. So like the Kelly 25, I believe the sweet spot for the Birkin is your essentials, although the open tote nature of the bag allows you to add anything extra or unexpected along the way, and that flexibility can be really attractive when you're out and about. A quick side note, if you're not familiar with the retourne versus cellier debate, check out my Kelly 28 review or Birkin versus Kelly video for a detailed breakdown. As bag bodies shrink, so do handle proportions, and this is probably the greatest shortcoming of the Birkin 25. Comparing the handles of both bags side by side, you'll notice that the clearance on the Birkin is essentially a square, which requires careful aim to get in and out of. I consider my wrists to be somewhat small, they're not tiny, but even then I had to twist and condense my hand to fit inside. If you wear bracelets or a watch or thicker clothing, it will snag every time. And the furthest this bag can sit is halfway up your arm, which is just awkward as it usually pokes into your torso. So likely you'll end up carrying this bag handheld, which can be limiting and tiring for longer periods. Fortunately, you don't have this problem with the Kelly 25. The handle proportion is as functional as it is aesthetic, and plus the optional shoulder strap is a major win. Although the shrunken proportions make it a tighter fit when you're trying to clasp the strap onto the bag. While the iconic Hermes features of sangles and central turret with lock were intended to grant absolute security of your bag contents, the shrunken down proportions of the Birkin 25 and Kelly 25 make operating the closure feel incredibly delicate. It's especially the Birkin 25 that gets frustrating, as you have the added complexity of the top flap, which needs to interlock with these brackets. Likely you would just run out of patience and end up wearing this bag open most of the time, which is not a problem unless pickpocketing is common where you live. So just beware that this convenience comes at the price of your security. In contrast, the Kelly 25 with its integrated top flap that wraps over as a continuous piece of leather means the bag opening is tightly guarded by nature, so there's less risk of someone reaching in. And through the simple action of interlocking your top flap with the central turn lock, you have a really quick and easy alternative to securing your bag on the go without having to operate the fiddly sangles, which really at this miniature scale largely serve a decorative purpose. It's worth remembering that the Kelly is fundamentally a handbag, while the true Birkin spirit is that of a tote. So it's no surprise that when shrunken down to mini proportions, the Kelly 25 maintains its practicality and feminine elegance, while the Birkin 25 wrestles with a confused identity. Sure, it's the most generous packing mini there ever was, but iconic features intrinsic to the Birkin, such as the double handles, the top flap, the brackets, the very essence of the Birkin design, have become more of a nuisance than a blessing. Like their larger models, both bags support a zipped back pocket, but provide only one open slot on the front panel. Hermes craftsmanship is always an asset to be admired, and their precise detailing is even more remarkable when you consider the challenging shrunken down proportions of these mini bags. Comparing against my Birkin 35, you'll notice that the hardware engraving is as fine as a single strand of hair, and Hermes has even scaled down the size of every hand stitch on my Birkin 25. Interestingly, there has been no change to the size of the stitches on my Kelly 25 compared to my larger bags. So perhaps that's a sign of Hermes's cost-cutting measures in more recent years. Note, however, that when it comes to the add-on accessories, such as the lock, keys, clochette body, not the strap length, they are the same size for the Birkin 25 and Kelly 25 as they are on the larger models. This makes sense from a production point of view, and also so that we don't have to get tweezers out when we try to lock the bag, but it does mean that these iconic Hermes touches look much bulkier on the mini bags than they do on the classic sizes. So if you've ever wondered why no one seems to lock their mini bag, it's in part due to the fiddly nature of having to operate these delicate sangles, and also in part due to how standard sized accessories unfortunately just look supersized on these shrunken bags, or they add to their novelty as a toy handbag, which is what the upsized clochette implies. Mini bags hold an irresistible charm, and I believe the secret to their allure lies in their proportions. First off, the smaller the bag, the higher it's elevated above the ground, which visually implies longer legs, and this is flattering for most body types. I'm currently 22 weeks pregnant, so unfortunately not the best model, but if you're comfortable showing off your figure, smaller bags are the best enabler as they don't obscure your frame. On the other hand, it can also work against you and exaggerate your body as supersized, which is probably the case here. And of course, you can't discuss the Kelly without the game-changing optional shoulder strap. It's the perfect length for shoulder carry, comfortable and convenient. Crossbody carry is naturally tight as the tall handles stick into your chest, but I also have to blame my super snug fit on my belly. If you're slim, you can definitely pull this off. Beware though that shrunken bags with their quirky play on proportion can be as deceptive as they are charming. A mini bag which looks flattering against your frame may surprise you in how unnatural it feels when held in your hand or worn off your arm. Before I purchased the Birkin 25 and Kelly 25, I was obsessed with the ultimate adorable mini bag statement. But now I can confidently say I'm not interested in the Kelly 20, as it would just mean heading more and more down the track of a ridiculously expensive handbag, which despite all picture perfection is just super awkward to use. It's such a paradox that the smaller your handbag, the larger the statement it becomes, and often a statement grants you ultimate styling flexibility, as it means that regardless of your outfit, your handbag can be whatever it wants to be, which is why mini bags are the #1 choice for injecting a bold pop of color. Whether it's the novelty of styling a bag that's more toy than function, or the feeling of freedom and privilege that you can travel so light, mini bags are as cute and playful and youthful as they are elegant and feminine. With so many layers, it's no wonder that they steal the spotlight entirely sometimes. The Birkin 25 and Kelly 25 will carry you from day essentials to nighttime chic. The only limit to their versatility is their capacity. However, while classic sizes were gracefully reserved in nature, I do believe that this formality and the old world prestige can get lost as our bags shrink. So with the toy sizes, you may not be taken as seriously. When you compare the Birkin and Kelly sizing spectrum, you'll notice that they converge only 3 times, and the 25 is special as it's the only shared option at the smaller end. The shared focus on the larger end reflects the historical origin of both bags. After all, the very first Birkin ever created for Jane Birkin was a size 40, and the Kelly, which became a sensation after it was photographed with Grace Kelly, was a size 35. This reminds us that, like all of fashion, sizing is cyclical. Although big bags are finally returning to the spotlight, it is incredible that mini bags have been a dominant force for almost a decade. If anything, it's a statement of culture. Today, your smartphone replaces a dozen items which women used to have to lug around, and you can even replace your wallet if you've gone digital with your ID and credit cards. High-quality handbags, such as the Birkin and the Kelly, were traditionally designed to secure women's belongings during long commutes. But today, we prefer to use these special bags for special events, where small bags are the convention since we're packing light. In the same way, social media influencers who drive the mini bag aesthetic are using these bags specifically for the shoot. They're not using these bags for real life behind the scenes, such as grocery shopping or picking up the kids or packing a laptop for work. Finally, since Hermes introduced the smaller sizes at a later date, I actually don't know when the Kelly 25 was launched, so if you do have this information, please share it below. It does mean that stock for the mini bags is lower than that of the larger sizes. So as a result, they're rarer, which means they're more valuable as investments for collectors and valuable as a statement of exclusivity for socialites. As the focus returns to big bags, can you still justify investing in a mini, especially when it carries a maxi price tag? Well, first of all, a trend is not a trend if it works perfectly for you. Depending on your height, your level of comfort, lifestyle needs, and personal style, a mini bag may just tick all of your boxes. That's the case for me, as I'm not that tall, I pack light, I generally like to use my Hermes bags just for events, and I love a bold statement. One of the great perks to styling the mini Birkin 25 and Kelly 25 is that you get to enjoy the classic icons but with a fun twist. The Birkin takes on this adorable toy appearance, and the Kelly, especially in the relaxed retourne style, swaps its traditional formality for instead this fresh youthfulness. Like all minis, these bags will take you from day to night, casual to formal. There's no limit to the versatility, especially if you opt for a neutral color tone. While they are ill-suited for situations requiring heavier packing, my solution is to instead carry a separate non-branded fabric tote, which I can just use and abuse while my super cute mini still holds all of my essentials. The best part is that while other minis quickly lose their functionality, the Hermes 25cm width is the mini sweet spot, which can hold all of your essentials and more. A lot more. Although for your bag's longevity and for your comfort, it is best that you pack strategically by prioritizing large volume, low weight items, since weight, not space, is the issue. Ultimately though, if I did have to choose between the Birkin 25 and the Kelly 25, I would say that it's the Kelly 25 which is flawless. Sure, the Birkin 25 packs generously and the open tote is really user-friendly, but you can't ignore how shrinking the bag has made the top flap closure and the handle such a nuisance to operate. Not to mention that the excess cuteness does sort of override the bag's traditional persona, which is that of casual elegance. In contrast, the Kelly 25 doesn't feel like a shrunken down version of the classic, but rather a rightfully petite handbag. It's cute without sacrificing its graceful finesse. And if you're a fan of shoulder and crossbody carry, then the Kelly 25 is the best fit across your torso, which I will discuss further in my future dedicated Kelly 28 versus Kelly 25 review. I do believe both bags are trend proof. They're small but without being ridiculous. While I do believe the Kelly 15 and Kelly 20 will lose their steam until the next micro mini bag trend returns, I'm sure we'll see these two bags styled on a regular basis just naturally by petite women or for women who like to travel light. So everyone, that brings me to the end of today's exciting return to the topic of Hermes with this detailed comparison of two holy grail minis, the Birkin 25 and the Kelly 25. Thank you so much to my amazing subscribers for joining me today and sitting through this monster review. I really hope it's of use to you, especially if you're having trouble trying to decide between the two. For next month's video, I'll be delving further into Hermes by comparing my Kelly 28 and my Kelly 25. Do you know who you would choose? I wish you guys an amazing month and I'll see you again soon.